Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast. As you know, I'm Gills. We got the regulars with us. We got XJ Stone. We got Banks. We got Beasley Adams. But today we got a special guest. You may know him from plenty of films that have been out. If you looked in Amazon, even as far as Target, he has multiple awards in Creative Loafing magazine. You've seen films of his like Always Live, Laugh, Love, Lawless Law, even documentaries, Chasing a Dream Out of the Shadows. Me and Xavier personally got to work with him on Desolation of Evil. Glad to have you here, Gerard Lima. How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's a pleasure to be on with you guys, and I'm just waiting for this COVID thing to get over with, so me and you and X can get back on set together.
Oh man,
Wow.
yes, yes. Looking forward to that. That's a good. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, that's one of the things that I did want to ask you about the most because I know your film Bloodline is coming out very soon. So, how hard has it been to film that like during a pandemic and everything? I know that's different things you got to do to make sure to
So when when we did Desolation, you guys remember we had a pretty decent crew, makeup. So for Bloodline, because working with SAG is really, really hard, it really come down to we had two crew members, me and a camera guy. So I was director, audio, slate. It was just a pain.
Wow.
So I'm like, man, it's like I was like, where are my guys there? Where's my crew? I need them, but it's still fun. Even though it was a lot of work, it was probably one of the most enjoyable films I've done because there was no bickering, no fighting, no drama on set. And hats out to all those ladies who came out and put this work on for us because not only is it hard to do a film during COVID, it's an all-female cast action film. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
Definitely.
When can we expect that?
Hopefully early fall.
Early fall.
The teaser does come out on Sunday.
Nice.
So
this
Okay.
Sunday?
Okay. Got it.
Can we look for that on YouTube? Like
Where can we find this?
it's gonna be. I'm gonna drop it on IG with the YouTube all link on there.
Nice.
Seems like the whole world is on IG now. So
Yeah, that's
yes,
nice.
for sure.
True.
Yo, can we? So real quick, can we get a little a little synopsis on the new film that's coming out? Can we ask that?
yeah. So Bloodline. It's kind of hard to, but I'm gonna try not to give the story away because it's
Okay.
follows a cop who's chasing down her fugitive.
Okay.
And she has to decide: do I take her in now, or it's either arrest or kill?
Mhm.
The ultimate manhunt. The governor is tied up. There's a bomb strapped to her, and her partner basically tells her, "You either do your job, or I'm gonna do it for you." But it's
Sound great. Sound interesting.
Yeah.
You captured my
Definitely.
attention.
Yeah, definitely.
You
Definitely.
captured my attention.
I was sold with the all female cast. That means we got
Oh yeah.
a female antagonist and protagonist.
Not a lot of female action nowadays as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Facts.
Definitely. So, like, kind of staying on that, what made you want to go with an all female cast?
so. I've always done all the extra stuff with guys. When I was listening to you guys' podcast, the one you guys were talking about Wesley and Michael Jai on like the action. Guys are always saying, "Oh, guys can do it, guys can do it." But I have 3 nieces. I don't want them to grow up like, "Oh, my uncle's a jerk and he doesn't think I can do some of the cool stuff."
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I personally think the ladies can do just as much as the stuff that the guys can. So why not give them the whole thing with Lima Films has always been everybody gets a chance. I have a stack of papers like this thick of people saying, "Hey, you're not gonna make it. We don't time." So I'm like, you know what? My goal is gonna be put everybody on. Everybody gets a shot. You fire yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
Okay. That's a different way to go about it. I like it.
I can attest to that. Xavier called me one day. He's like, "Hey man, we're gonna jump on set with Lima." I'm like, he's not gonna like let us just walk on set. And sure enough,
that was actually interesting.
Yeah.
How that even worked out, because going to school to do film and then trying to get the experience that you're going to need when you actually go out in the world to work and get paid is kind of difficult, right? Like just to find internships, positions, because it's just so many different type of people doing it from different walks of life. Everybody do things differently. So to be able to find somebody that's willing to take you on to even be a PA. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's bringing donuts, you know, getting paperwork done, whatever the case may be. But working with Gerard, you was able to come in and, you know, immediately get straight into it from, you know, holding the camera, doing some audio, being asked questions like, yo, did that look good? Do you think this looked good? It was like a different eye-opening experience, and it helped me understand like, yo, this is really where I want to be. So I do back that because of the whole idea of give everybody a shot, because he ain't really know us from a hole in the wall. You know what I'm saying? He just knew we wanted to work, and we was out there, and we had a goal. Like, we jumped onto the team, and we all had a goal, and was able to get that done. So that is actually dope that he does provide that opportunity.
I give you guys mad props because y'all, not only did y'all jump in and y'all was go and you're busting your behinds, but y'all came in, it was like 92 degrees outside and we're filming all day. Yeah. Not once did y'all ever complain about anything. So like, you guys get mad respect from me for that. Like, because y'all could have easily, we had a guy that morning who came in about 20 minutes later. He was too hot. He left.
Oh man.
I think I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
Gills didn't complain. Gills didn't complain once.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. No. So, yo, I mean, as far as, should we start from the beginning? I mean, because I know when did you really start with, decide I'm going to start Lima Productions? I'm going to start making my own films.
Let's start a little bit further. Let's go all the way to the beginning. Yeah,
how did you get into film?
Yeah, like what got you like, yo, I want to be, you know, this filmmaker, producer, writer, actor, director. Like, what got you on? What got them gears turning?
So it's hilarious. This is actually gonna be funny. In high school, I was forced to take drama and acting junior and senior year of high school.
Also,
I failed both of those classes because I said, when am I ever going to use this in my life?
Wow.
10 years later, we get hit with the recession. The economy crashes. I mean, I have a paralegal degree. I couldn't find work nowhere. So the one thing I keep my mind going is I love to sit down and write. And I think that's first and foremost, that's what I am. I'm a writer. I can write anything about anything. So I started writing. I'm like, I'm tired of writing. I want to see something come to life. I started calling studios and reaching out to people. I got a call back from a production company out in LA saying, hey, we liked your script. It's a war movie. It's dope. We'll get on it and we'll fund it. I'm like, yes, thank God. I don't have to go back to a regular job. Let's do this. Thanksgiving Day of 2010, I get a call. Mark Wahlberg just got off the phone with us. And in my mind, I'm like, hey, Mark is going to be in my movie. That's what's up.
Word.
He just started shooting Lone Survivor. We're taking your funding to his film. I'm like, you bastards.
Yeah, that's tough.
To date, I have not watched Lone Survivor just because of that.
That's tough. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I feel bad because I kind of like that film too.
Yeah. He went from
really quick though. Like I completely agree. Like I'll be mad. But if you put yourself in their shoes, would you have done the same thing?
I mean, I wasn't mad, and the reason why I haven't watched the movie is not because, hey, I'm mad at these people. It's just that little extra motivation. Like, I can't watch it till I get there. Like, I have to earn the right.
All right. Okay.
I can respect that.
I like that.
The one thing that's interesting, I never want to be mad and never be upset because, like, it's like one door closes, another one's going to open. Like, had I gotten there, I never got to meet Martin and Xavier and everybody in the crew is like them. I'd rather have that than have snobby people in Hollywood who are kissing up to Harvey Weinstein and going to jail. I take that over. I take these guys over that. So
that's dope. That's dope.
All right. I like it.
That is dope. So okay, so we move forward 10 years. You know, you didn't know this is where you at. So tell us a little bit about the independent filmmaking lifestyle, because I feel a lot of people kind of don't understand what because we see the Spike Lee's who's an independent filmmaker, but he can get those higher budgets, but there's a whole pool of individuals that does it a little bit different, that really out there grinding, going to, you know, doctor's office, lawyer's office, asking, you know, you want to fund the film and stuff like that. So Why don't you give us a little insight on that aspect of things?
I mean, I love the indie side of it. I mean, as much as I want to go and shoot stuff for the bigger studios, so I know there's funding in place. Having the ability to shoot a scene and then turn around and be like, hey, what do you guys think of this? Like, and actually get input from the cast and the crew and let everybody be involved. And I love that aspect of it. If you go into Hollywood, you get, I mean, there's scenes you get one shot to do it and that's it. Like, there's no, it doesn't matter what person A thinks, person B thinks. But the only aspect that I don't think people realize is it's tough. You got to have tough skin. You got to have drive, motivation. Because right now, my schedule's been I get up at 6 and I'm not going to bed till 12:31 in the morning. And I've been doing this every day since the 4th of January. Because you still have your regular job. Like I decided to, I mean, my schedule wasn't busy enough. I decided to go back to school this year. And I'm helping people produce stuff. So I love it. It's a lot of work. You just got to know it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to piss your sisters off during Christmas vacation because you promised your cast that you got a trailer that's going to drop like the second week of January, but your trailer's not done yet. So you got to take time to sit in the room with your laptop and like edit some stuff because your editor decided to go on vacation. So it's tough, but I truly love what I do. As I started growing, I've always said I want to be the next Lionsgate, but I want to change Hollywood because I want to be able to keep the independent aspect of it. Simply because of the fact right now Hollywood, to me, is reboot. Let's redo this. Let's redo this. There's a lot of original content out there. Like look, again, you guys were talking about him the other day, Jordan Peele, Get Out. I think that dude is brilliant. And I hope they continue to just let him realm his independent mindset and what he does. Because if they block him in that little Hollywood, you got to follow what the studio says, Jordan's going to retire. He's going to get out.
No pun intended.
Right.
I think at this point for that, I think it's impossible. I think they can't. I think his originality is just making too much money right now. I think it's bad business.
Anybody can get got at any minute. So
they did it to Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Look at Eddie Murphy, Coming to America, Beverly Hills Cop, all those movies. There was all Eddie doing Eddie, and then they started throwing him into a box. Like studios started having too much control of his work, and he started losing a little bit of what made Eddie Murphy Eddie Murphy.
But I think it's a little bit different when you're doing someone else's creative work compared to like when you're creating the work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's a little different. That box is just, I think it's a little bit harder to put you in that box when you're the one that's creating it versus you're like the pawn that's working the work. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Well, just to piggyback off of that, I was going to ask you, as far as I know that you've had the opportunity to work on other people's, films where, and then I've seen you wear every hat as far as being in the film, being behind the camera, producing it, writing it, the whole thing. So where do you think that you excel the most at, and what do you want to be known for as far as when it comes to these films?
So right now I don't want to act anymore. I think I started acting because I needed that one person who can lead the film and it's not going to quit. At least you could do rewrites and get the story to the end, kill a character off, edit. So I think right now we have I don't even call it a team. We have such an awesome film family now that I know everybody's reliable. No one's going to walk away because there's just that love between everybody now. But I want to be eventually, I just want to be in an office somewhere, pulling all the strings, making sure like me and Xavier were talking today, like, hey, at some point I want to get some of his stuff made. So I want to be able to like be behind the scenes backing him up. And then once in a while, hey, I kind of want to take the suit off and put some sweatpants on and go direct the movie. I'll go and do that.
I was just going to ask that.
I mean, at some point, look, that's what Spielberg does. He runs DreamWorks. Once in a while, he's like, yeah, I'm going to go shoot Jurassic Park. But if it all was to end today, I want to be remembered as the guy that opened doors for people. I just want to put people on. I don't care if tomorrow person A goes and wins an Academy Award and never speaks to me again. I'm gonna be happy knowing, hey, that person made it. They got what they deserve because they had that talent.
That's dope. That's dope.
What's up?
Definitely
That's
need
not.
people. Yeah, we need people like that.
Yeah. Facts.
Definitely.
I know I
So,
cut you off in the beginning. Go ahead, Reggie.
I was just gonna ask. So, what's the project that you worked on? What's your favorite project that you worked on?
The next one I get to make. There's always something that
The Tom Brady approach. I like it.
Yeah, that's right.
I like it. I like it.
Tom.
Because every project, I mean, I started out, the first project I did was horrible. I funded the whole thing, 10 grand. I wanted to walk away. I got hurt really bad. The director was probably Harvey Weinstein's best friend. It wasn't a fun thing for me. I literally was like, I'm done. No more films. I'm done. That's it. And then one night I'm like, it can't be this bad. It cannot be this bad. And for the last 7 years, it's been fun. And every time we do something else, I've been lucky enough that we always add somebody new to the mix, and it just makes it that much more fun, that much more enjoyable. So, like, I'm looking forward to the next one we're doing here. We got one in April. We're really gonna go back to back, April, May, and June. One film every month for the next couple months here.
Pumping them out. What would you say what is your creative process look like? What is, like, when a project do you let it present itself to you, or is it kind of like one of those things where you have like an aha moment? How do you go about getting into the creative process of making a film?
Every film comes from a song. It doesn't matter. It could be like, I'll be driving, boom, song comes on, it comes on. So the one film we've done today is called Gone. Everybody loves it. It's a war film. Guy goes to war. Wife gets told he died. He's actually a POW. He kicks everybody's ass to get out and come home. It's called Gone because as I was driving down the road, NSYNC's song came on, and it's called Gone. It's basically so that song inspired the whole story, and I was like, I gotta call it Gone. The one we're doing that I told Xavier about, Red Riding Hood. We're getting ready to shoot that in May. That came from, it was just stupid. I was in DC a couple weeks ago with my niece watching TV. Like, don't ask me the name of the show, but this little song came on, and this little girl on the show just had like this red cape fly by. I'm like, I'm gonna do Red Riding Hood.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. That's wild, because music is timeless. You can listen to the same song and get 6 different movies out of it. So
you get inspiration where you get inspiration from.
Hey, right. Everybody's process is different.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because when you told me about the script, I immediately read it. But I enjoy reading scripts, especially because I'm in school and then we're learning about it, and then I could put that stuff that I learned, straight to practice. And it's always great to read somebody else's script, because I get to, envision something different rather than my own work. And I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it, but that script sounds real interesting based off what you're trying to do with the different characters, right? And being able to, put in some feedback, like, yo, if you do this and that will help with the story move forward. If you add this will add some more elements to your characters, make them a little bit more interesting. So my question would be, like, where do you start off with that? Like, so after you got your idea, like you said, you heard a song, you got the idea, I want to rewrite or do something different with the Red Riding Hood story. Now, what's your next couple of steps that you do before you start actually getting it on paper?
So, just we had brought up, I'm just gonna give you guys. Everybody thought we were doing Red Riding Hood, like a little girl. It's Red Riding Hood 20 years later. So I'll leave you guys with that. Ax can share the script with you guys later on if he wants. But I'll have the idea, and then if you ever see me on set, I mean, I'll have a little notebook with me, and in that notebook, it's got a bunch of paper clips and it's separated for scripts, and I'll just start writing out ideas, and I build out a skeleton for the story. I'm like, I want to see this happen and that happen. maybe she's gonna get a flat tire, or maybe war film guy is gonna be running away and he's gonna have to jump in the lake just because that's gonna look cool. And then once I have all those ideas out, I start basically just writing the story. I'm like, okay, where is this gonna fit? Where would this be cool? So I kind of put together a skeleton for the story before I do anything.
Okay. And I ask that because, everybody got, different ways they teach you. One way at this school, teach you another way at this school. You learned from somebody, they taught you this way, or you created your own method that works for you. But as long as you hit that goal, it gets the job done, then it gets the job done. So I just wanted, to touch on that.
So when you're making, when you have those ideas that you're coming up with and you're writing and that you're inspired by, and you have the vision for it, but then let's say, have you ever run into a situation where, your inspiration or, your eyes got bigger than, what you could chew off, as far as you wanted it to shoot a certain way, but being an independent filmmaker, you do not always have the same resources that, the big studios have. Has there ever been any situation like that for any of your films?
Yeah, so going back to Gone, because we're talking about that. There was a scene where the soldiers are running down the forest and trying to escape. I was like, let's drop a giant bomb, and that's what's going to create this whole chaos and confusion, and it's just going to look cool, and we'll get a drone in there. And they're like, yeah, you don't have it in the budget. Like, we'll blow smoke off of the ground and give you some haze. I'm like, so we'll take it. There's another one, the first one that I did, I wanted to burn this whole room. I wanted to burn this whole house down. And then eventually it worked down to, we'll just do a fire gag. We'll let a stunt guy run around on fire and call it a day. I'm like, I mean, I really want my house on fire, but I'll take that.
Oh man, that's funny. Get what you get. Get what you can.
We can't
get.
do that, but we can do this.
and that's one thing I tell people all the time, writers, I'm like, write the biggest thing that you want in your mind. You see a whole 20-story building blowing up and coming down in pieces and army man jumping off in parachute. Write that out, because the worst thing that can happen, you slim it down. You might have to have a guy jump off the first story window, do a high fall into an airbag. But if you write that small, it's harder to scale it up. It's easier to scale it down than scaling it back up.
Okay.
So go in with your offer and then let them dial it back as needed.
Yep.
Got it.
I can see that. I can see how that definitely is a method that can work. Because
So
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go totally different direction. So if you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so with that being said, because it seems like that's not something that's really taught in school, and these fine gentlemen here are all in school right now. So I know you really didn't, go the school route as far as getting into film. So what is your thoughts as far as going to school the traditional route, or going just straight up, getting in there and doing?
I don't think school hurts. And sometimes I wish I would have gone to film school, because even let's say you're taking a class, you don't learn anything from the class. At least you networked with people. You met somebody that could eventually link back up with it and help you along with your career. That doesn't hurt. But then you might learn something. There might be stuff when Xavier comes back that I'm like, damn, this dude learned a bunch of stuff. Like, hey, come, let me get some of it off of you. School doesn't hurt. Knowledge is always a beautiful thing. I'm drawing a blank. I forgot the rest of the question.
That's okay. So
that sounded like that was the question. He answered
that was the question.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you answered it. You got it.
So I was gonna ask you about your influences, because I look at somebody like Quentin Tarantino who went the same route as you said. I'm gonna pick up my camera. We're gonna start shooting. This is what it is. We'll learn. The experience was more important, and building the relationships was more important than just having the academic that thing. Not to say you didn't, but what are some of your biggest, strongest influences as far as filmmakers, in the industry?
I know you and me and Axe had this conversation on set. So for action films, for that action actor who's got that drama, I mean, I love Will Smith and Tom Hanks. Those guys have that. They can do the action, they can do the drama. Then you look at comedy. I look at somebody like Eddie Murphy, and Adam Sandler, who I think Eddie Murphy is more diverse than Adam Sandler. He can take on more characters than Adam Sandler can. Then you got your Denzel Washingtons in the world, who, I mean, as much as we've gone back and forth on set with this. That's why I call these two Will Smith and Denzel because of this. Then as far as directors go, I mean, Spielberg has been a great inspiration to me. I mean, some of the stuff that he's done has been. I mean, I would love to just meet the guy and be like, hey, be a fly on one of his set. But then you got, God, what just said his name? The indie guy from New York. No, not
Spike Lee.
Yeah, Spike Lee. Spike Lee is a guy who I think Spike has done so much good work, but he's so underappreciated. That's.
Yes.
I mean, I think Spike should have won an Oscar by now. That's just me.
A couple.
I mean, I remember reading White Man Can't Jump, like the hell they put him through to make that movie, and that's such a great film.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a really good story. But then I
best basketball movie ever.
right after Space Jams. But I don't know. I like the last set I was on when we did. It wasn't Blowline. It wasn't my film. They were talking about greatest director, greatest this, and it's the same analogy in sports. I don't think there's a greatest of all time. I think there's a greatest of a generation. I think that person is great to you because they inspired you to do what you do. Same way, like, because we're talking about Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady's not the greatest of all time. He's the greatest right now. Give it a few years, we'll see what Patrick can do. Maybe he'll look for a star in the Super Bowl again.
Tom Brady's definitely the greatest of all time.
That's what we're gonna have.
That's what we got to strongly disagree right there.
Don't get hamster.
It's a different conversation.
Don't get hamster.
Well, no. I mean, since we're talking about greatness, there's been a hot button issue that maybe you can shed some light on. Behind the scenes, we've been fighting with, and they won't give me any slack when I get it to it. But where do you think Tom Cruise is one of the greatest actors of this generation, or do you think he's just an average actor that makes good business moves or something like that? Where do you?
You always word it in a way that
is so messed up. We said he does
not. Do you want to reword it? Do you? If you
I know.
All right. So this was. Let's just throw it out what it was. Right. He liked Tom Cruise, and he said some things about Tom Cruise that me and Banks didn't agree with. Right. So I said, hey, let's take a step back. I could name, it was either 20 or 30 other actors that has more range than Tom Cruise. Now, we never said Tom Cruise wasn't a good actor, right? Tom Cruise he's a good actor. Right? We never said that. But when it comes to range,
I said he was one of the greatest of this generation. That's where I said.
Yeah, that we disagree with that, of course.
Because
I think there's some people out there that has more charisma than actual acting talent, right? Like, so they look good on screen more than their talent, than their actual talent has, right? And I think Tom Cruise kind of fits in that category more than anything because we named so many dudes that talent-wise is a better actor. So what are your thoughts?
So there's only one Tom Cruise film I can stand to watch. Only one.
Damn.
So I'll put it to that. If you look at Tom Cruise's body of work,
Vanilla Sky,
Top Gun.
No, it's Top Gun.
I knew it. It had to be. Or Days of Cruise. Days of Thunder or whatever. That'd be the only one.
But if you look at his body of work, and I'm just gonna stick with Will Smith and Denzel because those are the guys we always talk about. Like Denzel, he can play drama. He can play the pissed off bodyguard in Man on Fire. But he can be the sad dad who's trying to save his son, is John Q. Will Smith can be the dad who's trying to sell medical equipment in pursuit of happiness. Then he turn around and kick some ass in Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2. Tom Cruise, I'm just going to do Mission Impossible in every one of my movies. He plays the same character over and over and over.
What did I say?
Mission Impossible, Minority Report, all of those films. He's playing this. He's got no character depth. He's the pretty boy who can sell movie tickets. And I probably just got banned out of Hollywood because Scientology owns Clearwater, and I live in Clearwater. It was nice knowing all of you, but I never.
Edit this part out. Edit all of this out.
Yeah, we only.
No, like
this was for personal satisfaction.
If anything stays, it will be this conversation right here.
Oh, really?
I would just post this 5 minutes of him saying that. Wow. Just for you, Gibbs.
Honestly, I don't. Hey, I'm not. I'll say it because it's true. Like, there's a lot of people who they play the same character over and over again.
Yes.
Clint Eastwood. I love Clint Eastwood because he's got so much depth. He can play different characters. Kevin Hart. Don't ask Kevin Hart to do a drama film. He plays the same loud, funny guy in every movie. Do I think Kevin Hart can take that leap over into some drama? Like, look at the one film he just did with the guy from Breaking Bad.
Cranston.
Cranston.
The remake.
That film
I can't remember.
Maybe look at Kevin Hart like, okay, if they get him a good acting coach or a good amount of time to, he's got the potential to be a really good dramatic actor. The Rock, I love The Rock. The Rock doesn't have same funny guy, same. I would love to work with. I mean, we did when we did Desolation, we worked with The Rock. I mean, I love Rock and it's cool, but would I trust him? Like some of the films that I've written that I've had producers, hey, we'll take this and take your name off of it because it's got the potential to win awards. I wouldn't let The Rock touch it. I mean, unless he wants to write me a check to fund it, but. I mean, I think right now he's training to be Black Adam. I think that's the perfect character for him because that's in his line of work. The line of characters he can pull off.
It's gonna be dope.
And just to co-sign what Gerard was saying earlier, like when The Rock's cousin walks on set, you're very much aware it's The Rock's cousin without saying it in 2 words. He's huge. He's ginormous. But anyway, yeah.
The whole family's probably done.
Yeah. Shout out to Ati School. Good guy.
So let's moving forward. I kind of had an interesting question. So you do everything, you write, you produce, direct, like we said. You got a nice catalog of films of independent films that you've been working. So my question, because a lot of directors, a lot of filmmakers in general, a lot of times you have some that put out for entertainment purposes. Like a Will Ferrell. You know what you're going to get with Will Ferrell. You're not going to get some underlying message, to support this, that, or the third. So my question for you is like, are your films like that? Is there an underlying message that you're trying to get across to your audience? Or is it entertainment? Is it something else?
It depends. It depends on the film. A lot of the shorts, no, because it's hard to get that deep message in a short. But if you go through and read some of the features that I have, there's one. It's called Fighter. It's about a soldier who comes home to battle brain cancer. Like the message I got in there is like, hey, you can go fight for your country and do everything they ask for you when you're in uniform, but the moment you take the uniform off, the military, the government doesn't care about you. You got bills coming in and you still got to survive. So best of luck to you. Left Behind. It's a boxing movie about these two friends. One has a good life, the other one has some domestic issues. Is gonna split it. Ends up in foster care. He happens to be Black, and my message is, hey, we should not be like dropping these kids in welfare and treating them differently because of the color of their skin. And I relate to a lot of this stuff, and I joke around all the time. Like, I might look like a white guy, but I'm actually a brown person, being from Brazil. Like, I know what it's like to see your mom like, hey, if I eat today, my kids don't get to eat. So I tell people a lot of times I incorporate some of my life and some of the stuff I've been through these films into make real. There's domestic violence in these stories. I just wrote a wrestling movie where the lead character gets her crap beat out of her, even though she's a wrestler, by her boyfriend, because I've been through all that stuff. So I think, like I was thinking about it earlier today, if like with the Black Lives Matter movement, all the white people just disappeared. It's boring to them now. They don't want to do it. They don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm still putting that stuff into films because one, every time something like that happens, I'm on the phone calling my friends, hey, are you okay? Are you all right? Like, do you need anything? Because it's messed up that stuff happens. But the only way to affect change that I can do is by using this platform that I'm lucky to have and finding a way to keep it in people's faces. So I have to put these messages out there. Do I piss people off? Yeah. And that makes me happy because that means it's effective.
That's real.
I like that.
Go ahead, Amy.
Going forward, would you, what is, like, I guess pointers, because everybody has their own natural getting to where you are right now. There's some people who aren't exactly savvy on how to, so what's the best advice you would have for someone trying to get started in the film business from any aspect, from whether it be directing or producing or acting?
Call me and we'll put you on. We'll give you fire yourself. We'll give you the platform. We'll give you the ability to do it.
You heard people.
I've had people say, "Oh, it's too much work. I don't want to do it." So on the first film that I did I hate it? Even though I paid for it, I was the PA. Even though I wasn't acting, I was still PA in my own film. I'm like, the only way for me to tell people you don't start at the top is for me to do the crummy work. I was literally on set cleaning out pizza boxes, picking up trash, handing out food. And then I've had a guy who I worked with, like, oh, I want to do what you do and work. I'm like, okay, cool, come out, we'll teach you. Like, we'll make you a PA. And we're like, oh no, I just want to direct. I'm like, I don't got time for you. If I'm not, I won't inflate egos, but I'll build you up. Everybody gets a shot. Like I told X, when he comes back down here, we're doing one of his films. And if Martin ever accepts my friend request on Facebook, I'll be able to message him.
Gotta throw shade.
Good luck with
that.
Okay, listen. For anybody that knows me, my social media, as far as responding is not great. I don't have a great track record. But Gerard, you heard it here first on the podcast. I got you, man. I got you. Get my friend request. And anyway, for social media, can you let everybody know where they can find you as far as your ats? Handles?
So the easiest way to get a hold of me is on Instagram, either Lima Film Studio or Gerard.Lima. Facebook, I try to keep them more to friends and family, because try to keep some of that privacy in life still. So if I got respect for you and I think you have value in my life, then I'll add you on Facebook. Other than that, just hit me up on IG and then we'll talk there.
It sounded like a little bit more shade. I don't want to say nothing.
Did?
No. He said he friend requested me on Facebook. So first of all, so there you go.
Hey, look, I've given Martin a hard time ever since he stepped on set of Desolation, and I mean, come on, y'all know this. I fired all of you twice, and then I brought you guys back the next. So, and actually, that's kind of funny because I joked around like, this is the last film we're gonna work together. People, like, I joke around with everybody on set. Like, it's gotta be fun. If you don't joke around and you can throw shade, whatever, you gotta have fun with people. If you don't, it becomes work. And to me, the moment this becomes work and it's not fun, I don't want to do it anymore. That's why I hate my job, because I have to be there. I can't have fun, corporate life. No, like, when I get to that point where I am the new version of Lionsgate and we're changing the film industry to art, like, I hope to have a place that's a lot more fun than Google is. Like, we're gonna throw shade on Google. We're gonna make them feel like they're nothing, because I want people to have fun. I want people to come in and, hey, I'm gonna write about Cinderella like stumping on the seven dwarfs because Snow White pissed her off last night at the club.
Sign me up for that.
I want to be in that.
Yo, I'll definitely be in that.
That sounds crazy.
You gonna be one of the seven dwarves? You want to be?
I'm too tall.
Biggest
for that.
dwarf you ever seen.
Yeah.
There'll be a new name for the dwarf, for tall.
It don't matter.
We'll call it
He's
dwarf.
he could be like the runt. He would be the runt. Like he'd be the
The
word.
Now, Gerard,
Uh,
when you were speaking a lot about as far as changing the film industry, I see a lot of things now trending, as far as, especially with the pandemic, a lot of the things change. You're seeing a lot less people go to the movies. Now it's more straight to home video on demand, streaming, paying $30 for something to watch it, but not really getting to own it. So I guess my question is, where do you stand as far as like revitalizing the film industry once the pandemic goes? Do you are you one of the persons that wants to sit seats in the theaters, or do you prefer like that, straight to demand on home? Because I know that's where a lot of your films we can find on Amazon. We can watch it straight on demand when we want to see it. So like, where do you stand on that?
I think it depends on the film. I think it honestly depends on the film. Something like let's say Spider-Man or Justice League. Actually, not just. I'm not going there. I'm not talking about the Snyder Cut. They should have just let that die. Something like that. Like Top Gun 2 is coming out. Black Widow. Those action-packed films, I think they have to go to theaters. I think they belong and screen so big that when you come out, everybody's super tiny. And you're happy to spend $40 on a 2-ounce bucket of popcorn. But then there's some films, like maybe some horror, some of the not big budget blockbuster stuff, horror film. It might be cool to watch those at home. Some of the basically anything that comes out between January 1st and I would say like end of May. I'm okay with that going to streaming, video on demand, but all of the summer stuff and basically between June, July to December, that's where your Oscar film is going to come from. That's where your big award-winning film. So some of that stuff, yeah, it belongs in theaters. Like my stuff right now, because I'm not at that level, I'd be okay with it just going to video on demand or Amazon. But do I think streaming is going to kill the industry? Yes. There's way too much streaming and not enough content. I mean, I just heard today Paramount launched their streaming platform. Yep. And it's YouTube and Road Rule MTV episodes from when I was in high school 20 years ago. Nobody's trying to watch that. And then, yeah, the streaming stuff worked during the pandemic, but assume in a couple months, maybe later this year, it's got to go away. Otherwise, there's only going to be 4 survivors. Hulu, which is now owned by Disney. Disney Plus, which is owned by Disney, which is at some point somebody needs to step in and be like, hey, they got a monopoly going. Yeah. They've monopolized the film industry. They basically dictate, hey, you want to put Batman out next year? Well, you can't because we're going to throw out Spider-Man, so get Batman off the roster. Because that's literally what Disney's doing. It shouldn't be like that. You know what? Let Spider-Man compete against Batman. Let's see who's going to win that battle. Amazon should stay, and then
Netflix ain't going nowhere.
Netflix is going to die.
Huh?
Give it 5 years, Netflix is going to die.
I'm interested in what are your thoughts on that? Why do you say that?
Because Netflix was built, their library was built out of Disney, Universal, all of the other streaming platforms had their library on Netflix. Now that they're coming out with their own streaming platform, they're pulling everything out of Netflix.
I think streaming is going to take film to another level, right? Because it's going to cut out television, like it's going to cut out cable. I think cable is going to be gone before like Netflix or anything else. The reason why I think Netflix is going to be good, because if we remember 10 years ago, like when I was in the Army in 2015, 2014, Netflix was just full of B movies, like B horror, like what sci-fi was. That's all Netflix was. And we also got to remember Netflix was started in like the 90s, and they've been surviving all this time. And then I think where Disney and all of them and Hulu messed up was they allowed Netflix to dominate for so long that they was able to build up a name, money and stuff. So now they're producing their own content too. So I think because they're producing their own Netflix originals, shows, all that stuff, I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. But I do agree with you with we need to slow down with Disney, because Disney is starting to violate because they own Marvel, all of these different things. They're gonna do that. Like instead of this one film that come out with Hulu that could have made a decent amount of money, but it didn't because Disney put out Spider-Man on the same day or the same month. So I do agree with that. But I think streaming is gonna take it to another level, because people are lazy. Americans are lazy, right? They don't want to get up and have to go to the movies. And then the average moviegoer, like we're not the average moviegoers. Like there was a point where I went to the movies three, four times a month, right? That's not the average moviegoer. But people are going to pay that $10, that $20 a couple of times a month when they just got to sit in their house because they don't got to buy popcorn, gas, we don't have to pay overhead and all that stuff. So I think streaming is gonna be over the top, and I only know that because I took a class.
It's crazy what HBO Max is doing with the movies that are going straight there.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like it right now, but when the theaters get back popping, I'm not going to HBO Max to go watch. I want to go see it in the theater.
I think they need to keep doing like what Disney did last year. Even though Mulan was horrible, I like that concept. Like, hey, you don't have to have the whole streaming subscription to Disney. You can go on there and pay $30 to watch Mulan. A family that's got 3-4 kids, and they might go out and watch it in theater, might end up spending a couple $100. Mm-hmm. Hey, let's just spend $30. Let the kids sit around and watch it. I like that part of streaming. Mm-hmm. But I think they need to. There's going to have to be some readjustments for the streaming and theater stuff. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I really do think if Netflix does not come up with its own original content and keeps letting people pull their library off of Netflix, Netflix will die unless they just want to be known as the B-list streaming platform, which I'm okay with because it gives people like us hope to get our stuff on a big platform.
Right. Also, I wanted to touch on the theater thing too. I think I took offense to the horror movies not being theater, by the way. But I think it's going to be hard for theaters to die because I missed that experience. Like I enjoyed the driving to the theater, trying to get there early to see the new the new stuff that's coming out, trying to get that middle seat, find that perfect seat, take somebody with you, the surround sound that you necessarily can't have in your own place. The jump scares, the action, the blowing up. I feel like you can't get that anywhere else but a theater. I'm somebody who used to go to the theater heavy. Like every weekend I was seeing whatever new movie came out just to experience it. And that was a part of, the experience was to have that. And I used to go early where there's nobody in there where I could just experience all of that sound. So I think there's going to be a lot of theaters that fall, of course, but I think that it's a needed. I think theaters is needed when it comes to this.
I agree. I don't feel like that aspect could go away. Just like you said, that atmosphere that it gives you from whatever film you like. I don't think it's necessarily something like you said. Like maybe the small theaters, your small town, your towns, they got that one theater in it. But I don't think like the big AMC Cinemarks. I don't think they're gonna fall off that bad because I still think it's definitely a necessary entity. Yeah, definitely. Especially for those action films, like you said, those action films, those horror movies. I feel like those are very important.
I think it's time now for Netflix to start coming up with their own theaters. Like, could you imagine how like being able to go like rent a room, binge watch with your friends the next season of Cobra Kai? You know what I mean? Like I'd sign up for that.
I would too.
A pillow. You know what I mean? Like that's
stop putting your ideas out there, like
right? That. Yo, cut this out.
Word. Yo, you
I'm giving free game out here. No,
Everybody
all right, my bad.
Really ODing right now.
Let me shut up.
He's wilding right
Look
now.
at Reggie.
Yeah, he's
Next
he's
5
wilding
years.
right now.
This
He's
is the
wild.
inventor to the Netflix theater.
Do we have any more questions?
I guess the last thing I'll say.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a little off topic, a little lighter question. So, you gave a lot of respect to Tyler Perry earlier. We give him respect too. Very talented guy, done a lot, like you said, from all the roles and, behind the camera, front of the camera, writing, producing, put people on. He made crazy money. Our question is, what's up with the hair, man?
Thanks.
What's up with the hair on his characters?
Give some background on what you're talking about, son.
Is that when I say the hair, like we have a black character. The character is black, but then the character has a black wig on top of his hair. Like I have a wig on top of this, and I can clearly see I have a wig of a fade on my head, and it's just coarse, bad material. Like, is that a problem for you, or whatever? Are we doing too much?
I can live with that because it's way better than Superman's mustache in Justice League.
All right.
I think sometimes it just comes down sometimes like actors' contracts. Actors sometimes don't want to cut their hair up, and there's the stipulations where I'll just throw Michael Rosenbaum, the guy that did Lex Luthor in Smallville. All of the seasons of Smallville, they shaved his head every day. He got to season 7. He's like, I'll only sign for season 8 if you guys let me wear a ball cap. They were like, no, we're going to keep shaving your heads. Like, well, you guys are keeping me from getting other acting roles. He was like, no, he's like, okay, I quit the show. So sometimes studios try to do too much and limit actors from being able to get other roles. But, I mean, we couldn't let Superman shave.
I just want to go on record. I don't think that was Snyder's fault. I think that wasn't Snyder's fault. I'm not gonna.
That was Tom Cruise's fault. Tom Cruise literally said while they were filming Mission Impossible 7, Calvin Harris cannot shave his mustache because coming back to shooting, and I'm like, to do shooting one movie, he could have grown his mustache back. Tom Cruise needs to chill.
I was gonna say that it was Tom Cruise.
This damn
that's your answer for everything though. So
damn Tom Cruise, man. He's not a fan favorite here. He's not a favorite. He's not a favorite on Real Talk.
Mark, stick with Denzel. Stick with Denzel.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, all I know is right now I got hope for Superman, and I've been catching crap for this in the left and right because I am looking forward to seeing what Michael B. Jordan's gonna look like as Superman.
Yo, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Bring that up.
Kills. By the way.
It's so crazy that you bring that up.
I'm a diehard Superman fan. I love Superman to death. Like, I got this flag hanging right here.
Well, no, and I would get behind that. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
On this show.
Did you not just see? Show. Oh yeah, he don't be on Facebook. That's why he ain't see it.
On this show, we talked about a black Superman, and your man's Gills said that it's not happening. Even though all the speculations, all the talk, all the articles, everybody's pushing the idea. The studios are saying that they're looking into it. They want to make a black Superman.
Oh, it's a done deal. It's signed. J.J. Abrams has signed to do a Superman movie with Black Superman.
You don't think he's gonna recast Henry Cavill? He's not gonna bring back Henry Cavill.
He said with a black Superman.
You gotta listen, my brother. You gotta listen, my brother.
No.
Again.
He is so again.
Listen.
Again.
So against the idea. He's not even hearing you.
Hold on. Gerard, do me a favor. Can you just repeat what you said again, real quick? Just say that
one more
part
time.
over.
Run it back one more again. Spin the block.
JJ, Warner has signed on J.J. Abrams to shoot the Black Superman.
I'm aware.
Wait. The what?
The Black Superman.
The what?
Oh.
One more time.
And actually, I call it Barack Man, because the comic book Superman looks just like Barack, and I love Barack. So, like, I would actually be okay if they cast the Barack to be Superman. That would just be dope.
That'd be hilarious. I'll go see it several times.
And I know it's
Hilarious.
happening. And I know it's happening because you just did a Spanish place girl. And I love that. And I said I'm catching crap for this because me being from Brazil, being Latino, I'm like, yo, Superman don't gotta be white. I mean, the S on the chest stands for hope. So you mean to tell me black people, white people, Asian people, Latino people, we don't get no help? Only white people get help?
We don't get no hope, Gills.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
We don't get
I love the narrative. I love the narrative y'all try to paint. I never said I was against Michael B. Jordan. I said I don't think it's gonna happen. That was my argument.
And this is how I see it happening. They're introducing the multiverse with the Flash. Mm-hmm. They're gonna open up the multiverse. They're bringing in Michael Keaton, who hopefully doesn't have a heart attack playing Batman again. I love Michael, but
they're trying to do what Marvel's doing. They're trying to do that.
They're trying to get ahead of the curve.
Wait, hold on. Y'all cutting man off. What did you say? They're bringing Michael Keaton to play what?
Batman. The Michael Keaton Batman from the 80s is coming back, but they're going to use him to introduce Batman Beyond.
Got you.
Old man Batman. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we also see Nightwing and his son, who becomes Robin in the film. And I think with that riff, they're going to bring in Black Superman, which it's been the rumor for years to be Michael B. Jordan, and I really hope it is because
you said years.
This has been in conversation for 2 or 3 years now. And the reason why I wanted to meet Michael B. Jordan is because the same way I keep saying I want to change Hollywood, I see Michael as one of the few people doing it. He's not going out there saying, hey, I'm going to cast this person and that person and pay cameraman A, cameraman B have the same qualifications, but this guy is a man and this is a woman. I'm going to pay her. He is fair. He pays everybody the same. He treats everybody as equal. So I respect the hell out of him for that. So who else would I see right now as Superman who's giving hope to the little people in the industry? Who's better to put the ass on his chest?
I just want to go on record saying, yes, I would love to see it. I still don't believe it's going to happen. I know J.J. Abrams is signed on to do it. I just don't. Until it happens on screen, I'm not, because I've heard the same things with Idris Elba and James Bond.
But nobody was ever.
It never came into fruition.
They've been denying him the whole time. There was never a conversation that they was going to allow a black person to be James Bond.
Here's the thing with James Bond, though. I love Idris Elba. This is one of the guys I would love to work with him. If they do Idris Elba as Bond, they have to change where he hangs out. And this is a joke Chris Rock made. How are you going to make James Bond a black guy and he hangs out in a bar full of white people? As soon as he walks in, everybody's going to be like, that's James Bond. Everybody's going to know.
You have a point there. It's harder to blend in for real.
But I mean, what they're doing though is that, like, I know the last film there was other 007s, like there was other, you know what I'm saying? So they're bringing some diversity to that world. So with bringing diversity to that world, you should be open to the main guy being of something other than a white man. But from what I read, the creator or the whoever was doing it just was not open to James Bond being something other than a white man.
And here's how I'll break that down. It goes back to my mentality for Superman. And I keep getting crap for this. Superman was created 85 years ago. Picture two dudes walk into a room. Hey, we're going to picture an awesome superhero. He can fly. He can jump off a building. He can lift up the world. He can pick up islands. Awesome. We want him. This is, again, back in the 30s, late 20s. Oh, but he's a black guy. Get out. Mm-hmm. It would have never happened. And that's the same thing that happened to James Bond. But now I think people just need to be open to change and letting other people and letting minorities take some of these roles. Like I've always said, I'm like, if Denzel wants to be Superman, I'm okay with that. Will Smith already played Superman of all time. Will Smith already played Superman in Hancock. Mm-hmm. So there's different actors out there, but if you tell me, hey, we just cast a Rick Ross to play Superman, I'm like, get out.
Oh,
because he doesn't fit the look.
I think it has to be Michael B. I think if you're gonna pick a black person,
if you're gonna be,
it has to be Michael.
Trust
B.
me, I'm with
Right
that.
now.
Honestly, either Michael B. Jordan or even Idris Elba. Even though he'd be older, if he plays that Barack Superman from the New 52, where he's an older Superman and he's wise. Hey, the only reason I don't see Michael B. Jordan being Superman is Marvel's gonna pull this crap. Hey, we're bringing you Black Panther 2 because we don't know if Killmonger is dead or not. Nobody realizes that. We don't
always say that.
We don't know if Killmonger is dead or not.
You never see him die. You never see him die.
He's not dead. If you don't see him die, he's not dead.
And because we lost Chadwick Boseman, which sucks, like we need that male hero also to help Shuri grow and develop into her becoming the Black Panther. And that's going to be Michael B. Jordan.
Man, y'all putting a lot on Michael B. Jordan's plate, man.
Yo, he can do it though.
He can do it though.
Jeez.
He can do it.
It is.
Yo, you always want to be the odd man.
Hey, it's not hate. This is not hate. I'm just saying that's a lot. That is a lot.
Like hate to me.
That's a lot.
Moving on.
That's a lot.
We picked your brain a lot. We asked a lot of questions. You know what I'm saying? It was great talking to you. Don't want to take up too much of your time. But before you do go, we seen that you're doing a film festival. And and I wanted to dive in, get a little bit of questions, get some information about that. So can you tell us a little bit about your film festival?
So it's been something I've been trying to do for a couple of years. And this year I was like, screw it, let's go. I'm trying to basically just the one thing down here in the Tampa area, and you guys can definitely put this out, get a billboard, put it everywhere, because I think people down here need to hear this. Stop with the clicks. This is not high school. Stop letting people win award festivals down here because, hey, here's my buddy. We go to the bar at the end of the day. Let people win based on their films being good. Let people win and into your festival because, hey, they have that talent. Not because, again, clicks. I don't like the clicky stuff. Just you can have all the awards in the world because your friend is a director or runs a film festival. Doesn't mean you have talent. So the festival is going to give directors, actors. We're basically going to cover the whole genre of awards: actors, stuntman, stunt person, writers, producers, directors. Because it takes everybody to make the film, not just the director. Down here, it seems, hey, you're the director, you did the whole thing. It's a bunch of crap. It's everybody involved, so everybody deserves to get recognized for the work they do. So we're looking to put that on, I think it's October 24th to the 26th. We've been looking to partner with Greenlight Cinemas. It's a one screen theater in downtown St. Pete. So we're looking forward to that.
Nice. So can you give us some information, like how do we get our films in? Do you do scripts, like the nitty and gritty of it?
So to get your film on, if you go to Film Freeway and just look up Lima Films Film Festival, it's going to come up. Its categories are featured, shorts, animated, documentary, and then off of those categories, then we're going to pick the directors, the actors, LGBTQ, Black director, best stunt coordinator, best stunt actor. We didn't do script this year just because I didn't know how big of a pool I could get for people to read. I unfortunately don't have the time to sit down and read everybody's script, but I love sitting down and watching other people's content and work because there's so much creativity out there, and it's always fun watching what everybody else is creating. It makes me want to do better and be better.
Dope. Yeah, I just want to touch on that because I think that's dope that you're providing that platform, because not only is you're providing that platform so other people can see the film, but you're giving these filmmakers that experience that they're gonna need to be able to put on to get a project together, submit it in. I was looking at some of the prices; they're very reasonable in submitting their work. So I just wanted to make sure that that gets out there so we can go ahead
and anybody who gets picked and selected for the festival, your film is automatically going to get sent to one of the distributing partners. I'm not going to do it based on, you have to win to get it out there, because I mean, some people. I mean, I judged the film festival 2 years ago, and like literally, winner and second place were off by 0.1. Like it was literally by 1 decimal point, 1%, and they were off. Like you should have penalized people's creativity and the ability to grow their career off of that. So if you're good enough to get onto the film festival, you're good enough to get a conversation with a distributor. What happens after that is between you and them.
Nice.
That's
dope.
Yo, appreciate you coming down. You already know.
Definitely.
We got actor, writer, producer, filmmaker, overall, Gerard Lima. Appreciate you.
Mr. Everything.
Dope. Appreciate you.
Mr.
Appreciate you stopping in.
Oh, by the way, make sure everybody check out the teaser coming out March 7th, right?
Yep.
March 7th. Look out for the teaser for Bloodline. Make sure you look out on IG and possibly YouTube.
Yep.